In today's video, we are going to be talking about how to use the magnetic mask in Final Cut Pro. If you've never used it, it is an amazing, awesome tool. So let's get started. I love this tool so much because it helps cut people out, cut objects out in your footage super quickly and super easily. Before this, you would have to cut out people, items by hand and using the mask and clicking points all around somebody, and you would have to move point by point. And that took forever, and that was really a headache. But this has made it so much easier, and if you have never used it, I want to make sure you know how to use it in your next project. So first things first, you want to make sure you have your footage. You got it right there, and you're going to go over here. You're going to go right over here to effects, and you're going to scroll all the way down here to where it says masks and keying. Once you've clicked that, you can see all these different versions of masking that they have. These are all great and amazing, but for today we're going to use the magnetic mask tool. So we're going to click it and drag it all the way over here to on top of that footage, and as you can see, all of this information now shows up. So let's say if you want to add to your magnetic mask, you basically use this eyedropper tool. You're going to click the different areas that you want it to select. So let's say we want to add a few points just to tell it I want to select my whole body. It's that easy. And let's say we don't really want a certain area. You're going to go up here. Do you see that little plus and minus? You can click it right there. And you say maybe I don't want my arm. So you can click there and it adds that red dot. Whereas you can see the green dot is telling you where you've clicked, where you want it to be selecting. The red space where everything is highlighted, that means that is the section that it's going to follow and it's going to cut out. And there's also this paintbrush, so you can add, let's say we want to add all of this section over there. You can use those paintbrushes to add, or you can click the minus and you can paint that away. And if we don't want that, that is an amazing way to do it. If you do not like the little points and maybe it's not getting to that exact point that you want, using those paintbrushes is an amazing tool. And you can change the size of that brush just by using that tool right there. Once everything is encompassed in that red color, that means everything is selected and ready to go. Now you are ready to hit analyze. As you can see, with that playhead over here on this left side, it's going to continue going through, and you're going to kind of want to watch it and make sure everything that you've selected is everything that you want to have rotoscoped. So you're going to kind of watch along as it's analyzing, and you want to make sure everything gets selected. So especially overall body shape, especially for this footage, is very simple because nothing really moves too crazy except for when you have a hand pop out. And one of the things that I love most about the magnetic mask is it does a pretty good job following that hand. Even when I'm talking or moving, it does a pretty good job of following that lines. That is a great tool to have in Final Cut Pro. So once you have it all selected, you can hit done, and now you have it all cut out. So one thing that you kind of want to keep in mind is that you want something behind there. So let's say we really want to have a really cool background, so we can go to our generator section. We're going to scroll all the way down to this pattern background section. Maybe we add this line typography. So as you can see, we're going to make it the length of the clip. We're just going to hit play. As you can see, it followed my body pretty well. Even my hair, which as you can see is kind of sticking out. It's not perfect, but it follows it pretty well. And you can see, and once you've gotten that, you're good to go. Final Cut Pro, especially if you have the newer Macs with silicon, please use that because that helps so much more than those Intel computers. I'm not even exactly sure the Intel computers will even do it or run it well. So if you have the newer like M1 to M4, those are the best way to use it because it takes a lot of power on your computer. One thing that I've also learned is if you have multiple clips and you want them all to do it, even though you've cut them apart already, if you compound those clips, you put them together, you add that magnetic mask on top of it, as long as it has consistency. So let's say I'm talking right here, then it cuts like slightly over here. It still does a pretty good job of following it because it knows this is the person I'm following. But if you have a huge jump from like if I'm over here to over here, it's not going to count as well. But if you have small amounts of change after you've compounded the clips, it does a really good job of keeping that cut out really well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned something. You can use this on your next video editing project. We'll see you next time. Thanks.